It's Tia. It's been a Mississippi minute, but we bite, baby.
What's up, Pink Posse? It's your girl Ja, and yup, we back at it like a crack addict.
It's your girl Jiggy, aka Tanika. Listen, pull up on us. It's time to cut up, cause we back.
What's up, Pink Posse? It's your girl Kogi, and we're back. Pink Sunday Radio.
So the third one is: did the club actually need some new girls, or did we think it was too risky during the panorama for them to go out and get new girls? We'll start with you this time, Tanika.
I think the club. I think this is probably the. No, I'm not. I was gonna say this is the only time I agree with Haley, but we did the question on the sound off today, and I agree with her on that also. So I agree with Haley. There's a couple of things in this little argument that she had with Mercedes that I agree with her with, and one thing I really don't. I want to start with, why does Mercedes get a say if Unc is okay with it? Mercedes did far too much in this little argument that they had for me, because Mercedes ain't paying no bills down to the pink. She ain't putting nothing on the light bill. She ain't paying no property taxes. For her to do all of this, and it's not her club, to me was too much. But the one question that she asked that was the most important one was, what does Uncle Clifford think? And where I disagree with Haley at was her immediate reply of, it doesn't matter. I think it absolutely matters what Uncle Clifford think. And I'm not sure if I remember, did she this argument that they had was in the first episode in 2-1. Did she bring up the idea of auditions for new girls to Uncle Clifford in that episode? Do y'all remember?
I don't know if she ever does. Like, we see them at the auditions, but I can't remember a clip of them having a conversation about new girls. Am I missing it?
No,
I can't.
no, I never saw no clip of them having the conversation. Mm-mm.
So I guess we can assume that Uncle Clifford was okay with it, but I just had a problem with her. I'm the boss, and what I say goes, and it doesn't matter what Uncle Clifford thinks. I think that was totally wrong, and that led to Uncle Clifford eventually finessing her out of the club. But she said she was doing every could to keep the water out of the boat. Like, the money was running out, and she bought the club and she wasn't prepared for the pandemic. And I think I agree with that. Like, she's doing the best she can. I think she wasn't prepared to have to care for the girls, right? I think if Uncle Clifford wasn't there and this pandemic comes and she owns the club, she would not have taken those girls into consideration. She would not have cared how Jupiter's going to take care of her baby, or, what any of the other girls are going to do. She never cared for those girls. So Uncle Clifford there making her care, I think, adds an untold stress to her that she wasn't prepared for. And I think they do need new girls. Like, Mississippi is gone, and Mercedes is walking around here with the damn kinesiology tape on her shoulder because she's still hurt from killing Montavious, and she's the headliner at 50% or less than 50%. They obviously need new girls. Mercedes said they're splitting the pot of the Pussyland 6 ways, and it's barely bringing in any money. So why wouldn't you look for another headliner now that the big draw in Mississippi is gone? Now, the problem is the pandemic. Like, they are in peak panini, so all of this was dangerous to me. Like, they needed the girls, but bringing randoms from out of state into the club to audition, yeah, that should have been outside or something. I don't know. That was dangerous, but I agree with Haley for the most part in this argument.
Yeah, I'd say for me, I saw both sides of the story. They didn't have a headliner. Mercedes is down. Sippy is gone. Gidget in Arizona, and you got the pack, but the pack is the pack for a reason. They have their purpose, and so I get where Haley is saying we gotta find. So I feel like instead of some new girls, it should have been more like we need a headliner or we need to find someone a draw. Let's bring someone. However, there's also I understand Mercedes' side in being like in the pandemic, in the Panini press, in the panorama, we don't know these people. We've already had Rona rip through here. We almost didn't even make it. So now you want to bring some randoms from outside. We definitely didn't see any COVID tests happening in that line. Unlike at Coach's, condo, Big L was not out there giving rapid COVID tests before having 10, 15 random strangers come in lighting coochies on fire and stuff. So that was a dangerous situation, and I feel like Mercedes is looking at it like if we struggling, let's say I'll just throw out a number, it's $100 and it's 6 of us and we are splitting $100, and you're saying let's bring in somebody else, and so Mercedes is not looking at it like maybe that somebody else will bring in more money. She's looking at we are already struggling. Now you want somebody else to be eating off this same dollar, and I'm in the negative. So I can understand Sadie's being upset. I think she thinks she should have some jurisdiction over that because I feel like Uncle Clifford, their relationship has given her a say. She's used to having an opinion. Uncle Clifford is like, hey, I want to do this. What do you think? And Sadie's is like, yes, I want to do that. No, I don't. Even though Uncle Clifford, is the last say, like we see, like, okay, you're going to take Haley around so she can teach her the ropes. Haley's like, Sadie's like, no, I'm not. Well, look, you want to hold this baby? So I feel like Sadie's is just used to having a say. And what she need to realize is Uncle Clifford ain't Haley, and Haley ain't Uncle Clifford. And what you can do with one, you can't do with the other. So I guess I'll say my final thought process is I see both sides, but at the end of the day, the boss is the boss. So you do what the boss say.
So I have a lot of mixed feelings about this. And my mixed feelings about this kind of goes into some of my mixed feelings about some of the other things that happened and how careless in a lot of ways they were being during the Panini, particularly at the Pynk in different scenes. Mercedes, you around here with one wing. And every 5 minutes you're telling everybody about your one wing and how much it hurts and everything else. It's like, and this is on somewhat infrequent car wash trips that she's performing. So she's having a lot of this trouble with her shoulder on how many performances a night would you say they did? Because it wasn't like a bunch of people on the streets. What, 5 a night? 5
Something
maybe?
like that. I wouldn't say more than that.
Yeah, so it's 5 a night, and you have a small part. She's not even necessarily doing a whole Mercedes performance like she's done before on Mercedes night and stuff like that. So now we're about to open up the club where you got to do, if you're the headliner, you have to do your part, however long that is, plus some of the other dances, plus walking around and doing all that stuff, and you're having trouble right now, so you can't headline. At this point, who else is it going to be? Gidget is in, where's she at, Arizona or whatever? Mississippi is outcast. Like, you already said Toy Cane Pole. Who's about to be the headliner? Brazil, which she probably could, but that's a far cry from Mississippi, Mercedes, or Gidget. Y'all, you don't have the players. Like, you need more players to open up this club because Toy and all them are great for, like, the opening act for Mercedes for this one-time through car wash, but no Gidget, no Mississippi, Mercedes flying on one wing. Who else do we have? We got Toy, Peanut Butter, Extra Extra, Jupiter. You're down essentially 3 girls, or 2.5 at least. So yeah, and then they ended up hiring basically 2.5 girls with Roulette, Whisper, and Big Bone. So you basically replaced what you needed and got some fire ass girls. So I always like with Mercedes, this is kind of what everyone talks about with her ego, because she's never, well, okay, in this, I would say in this thing, she's never necessarily thinking about the club or the other girls. Even when she has cared about the Pynk, it's always been because of Uncle Clifford. Like in jail when she was like, no, keep your money, don't you gotta, like you owe $55K, that had nothing to do with the Pynk or the girls and anything else. It was, she knows it's important to Uncle Clifford. So the same thing here. It's just no thinking about the big picture. And that's a problem that she always has, because yes, all this has happened. 6 about a pot of hog maws, all that, whatever she said. We basically splitting a lot between the 6 of us. But you're injured. 2 of your girls went away. What you gonna open and do what? Who's coming to see you with not anybody else? The other thing is with the Rona ripped through here. So all of them have already had Rona, is what I'm gathering, which always kind of makes me feel bad about Toy, because I've always felt the way about Unc, like blaming Toy about like giving grandmother Ernestine COVID, which she did, but any one of y'all could have gave her COVID. It ain't no mask in none of these things y'all doing. Y'all all have had COVID. You opened up again. Y'all walking around raw breathing. Like anybody could have gave grandmother COVID. And the way like Toy was outcast, I never liked that. But I just always thought Mercedes' thought process so crazy, and it goes to just her business mind is freaking trash. And to some extent, Haley's is too, because there's never a plan. Everything is so impulsive, and like we said before, there's never a sit down Uncle Clifford and making a plan. Everybody's just flying by the seat of their pants. They do these auditions. Did they have an amount of girls they wanted? Were they looking for a specific thing? Everything is just kind of by default instead of by design. And that's my biggest issue with a lot of these decisions. This is a multi-million-dollar business because somebody is willing to buy it for multi-millions of dollars, and y'all are treating it like a hobby and not like a business.
One fucking hundo. Absolutely. I agree with everything you just said, Tia. As far as I'm concerned, the new girls were not necessary. I mean, I understand that when you're missing key pieces to the club, and you feel like, okay, you know, immediately you need to feel things, but when you're in a pandemic or whatever, I just think you really need to reflect a little bit on things, and this club is not good at reflecting. The club is not good at taking a pause on anything. They just run with it. The girls don't think half the time, or they don't assess situations well. Uncle Cliff don't assess things well sometimes, so I'm not surprised that this is how, you know, things happen. I mean, they don't do background checks. They don't care, you know. But hindsight, I just think they could have paused a little bit. They could have waited to bring new girls in. I feel like I don't feel like I feel like it was a little bit too early.
So
they're great. I mean, they're great. They're amazing. They're amazing girls. But I feel like maybe there's so many girls in there. Have y'all noticed that? I mean, I understand they have girls that are the main girls clearly, but and I understand those are background dancers, those are background actors, you know, etc. But I'm just like, you know, y'all have enough girls. Y'all had, I mean, come on. The pandemic anyway, like, y'all turning this into pussy land. I understand y'all opening it back up. So, I don't know. I just feel like y'all could have waited.
So my question would be, say they did wait, and we go into episode 2-3 with just Mercedes as the headliner. You think she would have changed her mind if she had to do? Well, she got hurt in 2-2, so she goes into the second episode, and there's no, you know, big Earth, Wind, and Fire performance. It's just Mercedes trying to carry it on her own on that one arm. You think she would have changed her mind about needing those new girls?
Well, now that you put it like that, with her damn one arm, bitch, Jesus Christ. I mean, Brazil could have stepped up. I mean, but damn, Tanika, fine. When you put it like that, new girls it is.
I mean, listen, we found new girls, and they were immediately made, like, co-headliners for a reason. So, to me, that tells me that Brazil and Peanut Butter and them can't step up to be the headliners. Because Whisper and Roulette been here for 3 days, and they already in the Trinity and headliners.
Okay, girl. Okay.
Miss Shamika Cotton, that's right, Coach's wife, Farrah Haynes, will be joining our show on April 16th at 3 p.m. Eastern. That means you have 2 weeks to get in those burning Farrah questions. Send them to our IG, Pynk Sunday Radio, or send us an MP3 to our email address at pinksunday@gmail.com.
Appreciate y'all for listening to the show. You can find us on Blog Talk Radio by using the link bit.ly/Pynk Sunday. For Apple Podcasts, go to pinksundayradio.com. Make sure after listening to the replay, you leave a 5-star rating in the review, as well as a subscribe. For Google Podcasts, go to pinksundayradio.com/Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify at pinksundayradio.com/Spotify. Hope to see you at the next episode.